Halloween was supposed to be loud, bright, and full of kids screaming for fun, not the kind of screams that make your skin crawl. But what happened that night still feels like something I wasn't supposed to witness. Something the world keeps pretending never happened. It was October 31st, cold enough for our breath to fog when we talked, and quiet enough that the wind through the dead leaves sounded like whispering. My friend Chris and I had one last house to hit before calling it a night. We were 16, technically too old for a trick-or-treating, but in a small suburban town. No one cared. Everyone was too distracted by porch lights and candy bowls. At the end of our street was the house, an old Victorian place people claimed was abandoned. No cars, no decorations, no lights. Every Halloween, kids dared each other to knock, but no one ever admitted to doing it. And honestly, most years, the place looked dead, like nobody had lived there in decades. But this Halloween, there was a porch light on. Not a bright yellow bulb, no. It was a dim orange glow, like a pumpkin left too long in the sun. There was a candy bowl too, sitting on the steps. It was an old metal bowl, scratched and dented, filled with exactly 3 pieces of candy. Just 3, Chris laughed and said. Probably someone messing with us. But the thing that made me pause wasn't the empty house or the weird bowl. It was the front door. It was cracked open, just an inch. Not enough to see inside, but enough to make you feel like someone was watching through the gap. Someone breathing softly in the dark. Chris nudged me. Dude, take 1 piece and let's get out. I reached down slowly, grabbed a piece, and that's when I heard it. A whisper. Right from the barely open doorway. Come in. I froze. Chris froze. It wasn't a playful whisper, not a prank. It was breathy, wet, like someone who hadn't spoken in years was forcing the words out of cracked lips. I turned to Chris. You heard that. His face went pale. Let's bounce. Now. We started walking first back to the sidewalk, but before we got 3 steps away, the bowl behind us slammed against the wooden porch with a crash so loud it echoed down the street. We spun round. The candy bowl wasn't on the steps anymore. It was sitting right in front of the door, and the door, it was wide open. Only pitch darkness inside. Darkness so thick it looked like it swallowed the light round it. My heart was pounding, and Chris whispered, someone's in there, but deep inside. I already knew what spoke to us wasn't someone. The wind stopped. Every house on the street seemed to fall silent, as if the whole neighborhood was holding its breath. Then, something moved. Not a person, not an animal, a shape. A long pale arm slowly reached out from the darkness, fingers too thin, nails too long, dragging across the wooden floor as if it was crawling forward. The hand stopped right at the edge of the doorway and tapped twice on the porch. Tap, tap, inviting us, calling us. The voice whispered again, but clearer this time, closer. Come, play. Chris grabbed my hoodie and pulled me back so fast I almost fell. Run, we sprinted. I didn't look back, but I heard something behind us, something dragging across wood, then across cement, then across leaves. A slow scraping sound that followed us all the way down the block. When we finally reached my driveway, we collapsed, shaking. After a full minute of silence, I made the mistake of looking up the street. The porch light at the Victorian house was off. The door was shut. The bowl was gone. Everything looked normal to normal. The next day, I told my older brother what happened, expecting him to laugh. Instead, he stared at me with this weird look and said, no one lives in that house. The town boarded it up 3 years ago. He wasn't lying. The next afternoon, in daylight, we checked. The door was sealed shut with new nails. The windows boarded. No porch light. No candy bowl. But there were scratch marks on the floor where the door opens, fresh marks. deep grooves, like someone had clawed at the wood from the inside trying to get out. And right under the door frame, a smear of orange candy wrappers, only 3. We never went near that house again, and to this day, any time I hear a whisper behind me on Halloween night, I walk faster because I can still remember that voice, soft and hungry. Come play.